for service to education. Just letting you know that the Prime Minister will arrive shortly, and when he does do so, we're going to ask you to stand at his arrival and for the national anthem, which will follow. These and other instructions are also set out on page 7 of your Order of Ceremony booklet. So until that time comes, we invite you to enjoy some more music from the JCF Band. Thank you, and thank you. So may we have a round of applause for the JCF band, please, who's kept us entertained for the start of this evening's proceedings. Ladies and gentlemen, may we extend a warm welcome to Senator Damian Crawford, Opposition spokesperson on Education and Community Development, representing the Leader of the Opposition. Please also welcome Senator Dr. the Honorable Dana Morris Dixon, Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. And ladies and gentlemen, may I ask you now to please rise and warmly acknowledge the arrival of the Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness. I think we can do a little better than that. Yes. And I invite you to remain standing for the national anthem of Jamaica. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Prime Minister, award recipients and distinguished guests. This prestigious national honor, established by Proclamation Number 1 and issued by His Excellency the Governor-General on January 20, 2005, reflects our nation's highest regard for those who have given extraordinary service in the field of education. This evening, we pay tribute to a special group of individuals whose tireless efforts, commitment to excellence, and unwavering service have helped to shape the minds and future of countless Jamaicans. Through their dedication, they've built not only schools and classrooms, but lives and legacies, laying the foundation for a stronger and more enlightened Jamaica. So to all our awardees, tonight is your night. We salute your noble service and celebrate the profound impact you have made on our nation. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us, and let the ceremony begin. And where do we start? We start fittingly with the invocation to be offered by the Reverend Dr. Wainford McFarlane, Secretary of the Methodist Church. Please welcome him.
Let us pray. God of power and wisdom, we affirm your presence among us, and we ask for your blessing and guidance as we gather to acknowledge and reward our hard-working educators for their sterling contribution given to the molding, shaping, and formation of minds to enhance the growth and development of our nation, Jamaica, and the world at large. We thank you for your love and mercy and ask for your guidance in all that we do here this evening. May you be honored in all we do, even as you continue to call others to this noble field of education and community service. Inspire those of us who are not recipients to be similarly engaged in fruitful work that transforms lives and that which motivates us to achieve our full potential. Help us in all our engagements to be selfless in service and devoted in advancing the welfare of our nation and our world. Teach us, dear God, the humility of Jesus Christ, his love for people, and the fixity of purpose in fulfillment of his mission. May you be with us, to guard us, to guide us, and to help us to find from among us men and women of honor who will continue to serve. But now, shower your blessings upon us, for we ask these blessings through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you very much, Reverend McFarlane. So the Prime Minister's Medal of Appreciation for Service to Education is traditionally awarded during the month in which we celebrate our teachers. Everyone present, I'm sure, would have joined in the observance of Education Week. Yes? Yes? And Teachers' Day? Hope you had a good Teachers' Day. A significant time in the national calendar celebrated each May. May is also Child Month, which makes this ceremony all the more symbolic. It is therefore meaningful that we formally commence this evening's statements with an invitation to Ms. Terry Ann Thomas Gale, Acting Chief Education Officer, representing the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, to deliver the official welcome. Please make her welcome beautiful and pretty in pink.
Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremony, Ms. Simone Clark, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, Senator Dr. the Honorable Dana Morris Dixon, Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Senator Damian Crawford, Opposition Spokesman, Education and Community Development, representing the Leader of the Opposition, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Senate and the Houses of Representatives, Ambassador Rocky Mead, Permanent Secretary, Office of the Prime Minister, Permanent Secretaries, and the public sector officials, Reverend Dr. Wainford McFarlane, Secretary, Methodist Church, Dr. Mark Smith, President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, and Mrs. Smith, members of the Prime Minister's Medal of Appreciation of Service Education Advisory Committee, the recipients, our distinguished educators and their special guests, representatives of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Today we gather to honor and celebrate our outstanding men and women whose unwavering dedication, tireless service, and transformative impact have helped shape the foundation of our nation through education. Their commitment has lit pathways of hope, empowered generation, and strengthened the pillars of our society. It is both a tremendous honor and deeply personal privilege to represent the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information this evening as we gather to celebrate an extraordinary group of Jamaicans, the recipients of the Prime Minister Medal of Appreciation for Service to Education. Today we do more than bestow the medals. We affirm the central truth that education is the most powerful tool of nation building. And those who dedicate their lives to this noble mission, our teachers, school leaders, administrators, community advocates, are true architects of Jamaica's landscape. To our awardees, your journey in education has not been easy, but it has been impactful. You have given of yourself, often without fanfare, without expectation, and sometimes with limited resources. The ministry continues to address these challenges one school at a time as we transform the education sector together. Yet, through it all, you have remained driven by boundless passion and an unwavering belief in the potential of every child. You have taught more than lessons. You have taught values. You have nurtured courage, resilience, and hope. You have been mother, father, counselor, mentor, guide, and friend to countless young minds across Jamaica. This medal, presented under the authority of the Office of the Prime Minister, is the nation's way of saying, we see you, we honor you, we thank you. In this time of global transformation, where education must respond to rapidly changing needs and technologies, your legacy becomes even more important. It reminds us that while we pursue innovation and reform, we must never lose sight of human heart, the heart of education, the teacher, the leader, the servant. I also want to extend our appreciation and welcome to all stakeholder parents, community leaders, private sector partners, and civil society groups whose support is essential in building a stronger, more inclusive, and more resilient education system. As we honor your achievements this evening, let us also acknowledge the families, colleagues, and communities who support you. Behind every great educator is a network of encouragement, understanding, and shared vision. I want to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you. Welcome to tonight's service. May your dedication light the way to future generations. Let us continue to work together, guided by the principles of Trend Initiative, to create an education landscape that is inclusive, innovative, and empowering for all. Congratulations to our awardees. May your achievements today inspire others to reach for excellence and to believe in the transformative power of education. Welcome and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Ms. Thomas Gale. We are also grateful this evening for the presence of Dr. Mark Smith, President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, a prominent advocate for educators and a steadfast voice in the advancement of Jamaica's education sector. So following on this official welcome from the Permanent Secretary Representative, we're now going to invite Dr. Smith to bring greetings on behalf of the Jamaica Teachers Association. It's warm outside, so can we give him a warmer welcome, please? Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, Ms. Simone Clark, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, Senator Dr. the Honorable Dana Morris Dixon, Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Senator Damian Crawford, Opposition Spokesman on Education, Training and Competitiveness, representing the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Audrey Sewell, Cabinet Secretary, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Senate and the House of Representatives, Ambassador Rocky Mead, Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Ms. Terry Ann Thomas Gale, Acting Chief Education Officer, representing the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Kassan Troop, other Permanent Secretaries and public sector officials, Reverend Dr. Wainford McFarling, Secretary of the Methodist Church, members of the Advisory Committee for this auspicious event, the recipients of the distinguished awardees, educators, and the special guest invited. Of course, I want to put a big round of applause together for our awardees this evening. A warm good evening to you all. Honorable Prime Minister, distinguished guest, and of course, our awardees, it is my distinct honor to bring greetings this evening on behalf of the Jamaica Teachers Association and our over 20,000 members. Ladies and gentlemen, as we gather to celebrate excellence in education through contributions of these nation builders, these extraordinary teachers, we see exemplified in their lives an unwavering dedication to education, a deep-rooted commitment to national development. This evening, we celebrate their tireless efforts in shaping the minds of our youth and indeed our future. Can we once again put our hands together for them? I think they deserve a bigger round of applause than that. Thank you. It is a profound privilege to stand before you and to express our collective gratitude to the Prime Minister and the entire planning team for making this event possible. I also wish to acknowledge the JTA Awards Committee for supporting the selection process. The JTA appreciates the effort made by all those individuals who have played a role in diligently evaluating each of the nominees selected, the 80 nominees, in fact, selected this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please give them a big round of applause. I'm going to work you out this evening. To awardees, congratulations once again. You have given your lives to a noble cause, the call of teaching. You have sparked curiosity in the young minds, guiding their dreams for countless students and instilling a love of learning that will ripple across generations. Your contributions go far beyond the classroom. You have shaped the social fabric of this great nation, fostering resilience, innovation, ambition in those who are fortunate enough to be in your classroom, benefiting from your guidance and from your passion for education. Jamaica is indeed stronger and brighter because of your contributions. On behalf of the Jamaica Teachers Association, I bring very warm greetings and thank you for your service. Education has long been the cornerstone of progress. It is the most transformative tool in the arsenal of any nation, a force capable of lifting families out of poverty, breaking cycles of inequity, and driving sustainable economic growth. It is why the JTA, under my leadership, and in its 60th year, has partnered with Education International, a global body that represents 33 million educators worldwide, to launch Go Public Fund Education. And this campaign is an audacious attempt to mobilize national consensus and support to boost investment in education. I believe we are at a pivotal moment, ladies and gentlemen. A pivotal moment that if we make the right strategic decision, it can improve our collective fortunes, the collective fortunes of every single Jamaican. There's a unique opportunity I believe we possess at this time. For the first in our history, we have individuals who are at the table, who understand in a very nuanced way the importance of education. Because for the first, we have a Prime Minister who is a former education minister. Big round of applause to the Prime Minister. And we also have a finance minister who is a former education minister. That's 2 of 3. And we now have a highly enthusiastic, and I tell you, her enthusiasm is infectious. She wants to create transformation and change. And she happens to be our Minister of Education, Dr. Dana Dis. If there wasn't a clergyman present, I would say it would be a holy trinity. And so we have individuals at the right place to make these critical decisions. We have a opposition spokesman on education that agitates constantly for improvements. So what are we waiting on? If we're truly desiring a Jamaica that is prosperous, equitable, globally competitive, we must seek to make a historic investment in education, a once-in-a-generation investment. This investment must be not incremental, but be bold, visionary, and transformational. We already have the Patterson Report talking about transformation. We must now embrace the reality that the road to a stronger Jamaica is paved in a classroom. It is through laboratories, libraries, and technical facilities that are world-class. There is no version of a successful, economically viable, socially sustainable Jamaica that does not have education as a catalyst for that transformation. We can clap for that one. It is for this reason that we extend our deepest appreciation to the Honorable Prime Minister and the government for the removal of charges to access Hart NSTA institutions. This decision removes barriers, empowering Jamaicans from all walks of life to upskill themselves, to pursue new careers, and to contribute to meaningful national development. This policy change is a resounding declaration that education must be accessible to all. As we reimagine education for the 21st century, we must boldly embrace STEM and STEAM education, whichever one you prefer to embrace. They are the key to unlocking innovation, entrepreneurship, cutting-edge industries that will propel Jamaica boldly into the future. The future belongs to the nations that are able to harness technology, creativity, problem-solving skills by prioritizing STEM education. We are not just educating students, we are preparing to lead the disruption and to supercharge our economy. This evening, this is a celebration, but it's also a call to action. Let us honor our awardees not only with the tokens and with words, but with our resolve to champion education in all its magnificent forms. Let us build a Jamaica where every single citizen, regardless of their background, has access to tools they need. Similarly, like the Jamaica Teachers Association partnered with eLearning Jamaica on Labor Day to open 4 STEM coding institutions across the or coding labs. To awardees, your work is invaluable. You are shaping the very essence of Jamaica's future. We are endlessly grateful for your service. To the Honorable Prime Minister, to our Senator Dana Morris-Dixon, your willingness to engage in meaningful dialogue, especially on the JTC bill. Senator Damian Dixon, thanks for your always thought-provoking ideas. Thank you all, every single individual that has played an incredible part in helping to move us in the right direction. And to all of us, let us continue to invest in our children, our educators, and the nation. For in doing so, we're investing in Jamaica. We're investing in our people. We're investing in a brighter future. Thank you, and may you continue to uplift and empower everyone through education. As John F. Kennedy once said, our progress as a nation can be no greater than our progress in education. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We would like to publicly... Excuse me, please. So the other microphone. Make some adjustments here. Take the time to welcome the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kevin Blake. And also, yes, you can give her yes, very kind of you. And also the Custos Rodelorum, St. Andrew, the Honorable AM4 CDJP, also with us. All right, folks, so it's time for a rhythmic intercession into our proceedings. Please join me in welcoming a powerhouse of cultural pride, the Uhuru Drummers. Under the leadership of Kamar Grant since 2002, this exceptional ensemble of talented drummers has captivated audiences both locally and internationally. Comprising mainly past and present students of the St. Catherine High School, they are a shining example of youth excellence in the performing arts. Over the years, Uhuru Drummers have set a high standard in the JCDC's National Festival of the Arts competition, earning numerous accolades at Drumfest and commanding the merry-go-round stage with passion and precision, always to critical acclaim. Currently holding the title of JCDC's Most Outstanding Drum Ensemble, they continue to inspire with their disciplined artistry and electrifying performances. Their leader, Mr. Grant, a man of few words and a lot of action, firmly believes in, quote, letting the drums speak for themselves, unquote. So now, without further ado, Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the explosive energy and commanding rhythms of the Uhuru Drummers. There's no business like show business. I'm just gonna, is that good? Yes, let the show continue. Thank you again, Uhuru Drummers. Oh gosh, man, they can get over more round of applause than that. Electrifying rhythms resonating deeply within us. Thank you very much. And it's good to see our young men doing these things together. Custis of Manchester, Lieutenant Colonel, the Honorable Garfield S. Green, we acknowledge your presence and we welcome you, sir. Thank you for being here. It is now time for the minister's remarks. We are privileged to be joined this evening by Senator the Honorable Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, and Member of Parliament. Minister Morris Dixon has been a passionate advocate for educational transformation. Thank you. And national development through innovation, skills training, and youth empowerment. We now invite Minister Morris Dixon to deliver her remarks. Following her address, the minister will have the honor of introducing our keynote speaker for this evening. Please welcome the Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremonies. And as far as I know, I am not an MP. I'm still a senator. Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica. Senator Damian Crawford, Opposition Spokesperson on Education, Training, and Competitiveness, who's representing the Leader of the Opposition. Members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Senate and the House of Representatives, Ambassador Rocky Mead, the Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Dr. Kevin Blake, the Commissioner of Police, who I have to acknowledge because murders are down 42%. And I have to acknowledge him specifically. Miss Terry Ann Thomas Gale, the Acting Chief Education Officer representing the Permanent Secretary, other Permanent Secretaries and public sector officials, Reverend Dr. Wainford McFarlane, Secretary of the Methodist Church, Dr. Mark Smith, President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, and Mrs. Smith. And I was so glad he said that I was working with him on the JTC bill. I was glad that he said it, not me. Members of the advisory committee that worked so tirelessly to put this event on and to select all of the honorees tonight, the recipients or distinguished educators and their special guests, representatives of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all. It is my profound honor to share in this evening's celebration with all of you. As I went through your biographies, I was thoroughly impressed by your body of work. But more importantly, I was amazed by the breadth of your contributions to your students and the society at large. I know you are the ones who stayed after school, long after the bell rang. You're the ones who turned sometimes limited resources into endless possibilities. You are the reason many of our doctors, nurses, leaders, artists, entrepreneurs, and inventors found the courage to believe in themselves. This week, I will do my 50th school visit. Been to 50 schools. At the end of this week, I would have gone to 50 in my short time as minister. And what I love about going to these school visits is sitting in the staff room with the teachers and listening to the teachers talk about what their challenges are and giving me suggestions on policy and how we can make the education system better. One of the most moving moments I had was with a teacher who was telling me about issues with parenting with the students at her school. And she said to me that there are many students who are ill at school and their parents do not take them to the doctor. And she said that between her and the school nurse, every single month, they got the school bus to go to the adolescent clinic and take the children to the doctor when their own parents wouldn't. I know deeply, and I see it every week when I go to schools, that our teachers are doing much more than just teaching. You are mother, your father, your auntie, your uncle, your counselor. You are there after school doing all of these wonderful activities with our children. We owe you so much, and tonight is the least that we can do. My job, as given to me by our Prime Minister, is to make more recipients like you, because the impact of your work is important, and we want to magnify that. I am very proud that this administration has taken concrete steps to reform the education sector, as guided by the comprehensive work of the Education Transformation Commission. As Minister of Education, my focus has been building a system that serves every learner, regardless of background, ability, or location. First, we are aggressively prioritizing literacy and numeracy. Every child must be able to read, write, and reason at the appropriate level. It is the foundation upon which all future learning is built. Second, we are strengthening early childhood education. The science is so clear on that. What happens in the first 5 years of life has a lasting impact on brain development and learning outcomes. And so we have to focus on early childhood education. Third, we're putting the spotlight on special education. Every Jamaican child deserves access to education tailored to their needs so they can excel. Fourth, we're advancing our school nutrition policy. Children cannot learn if they're hungry. And we are investing significantly in nutrition starting in September, in addition to the $8 billion that we already spend. Nutrition is not a social welfare issue alone. Nutrition is an education issue as well. And fifth, we are accelerating the integration of technology in education. The future of education is digital, and Jamaica must not be left behind. At the heart of all of this, however, is you, our educators. Your dedication brings these priorities to life. You turn policy into progress, and I could not ask for more committed partners in this mission. I know some of you may have been expecting somewhat of a long speech from me, but I'm not going to, because you have somebody even better to speak to you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the distinct honor of introducing a leader whose commitment to education is not only consistent, but personal as well. From the beginning of his public service, he has believed that education is the most powerful vehicle for transforming lives, reducing inequality, and building a prosperous nation. He stood in this role as Minister of Education not too long ago, and I know every day I work to emulate his commitment and dedication to the ministry and the teachers. It was actually under his leadership that the Prime Minister's Medal of Appreciation for Service to Education was re-established and elevated. That's our Prime Minister. And he did that and elevated it to this level because he understands the motivating power of recognizing excellence. It was under his guidance that we had the Education Transformation Commission, not to simply conduct another report, but to create a bold, actionable framework for system-wide transformation. And it is under his direction that we're implementing meaningful change, not only in policy, but in the lived experience of students, parents, and educators across Jamaica. He believes that every child in this country deserves access to a quality education regardless of their circumstance. He believes that teaching is not just a profession, it's a cornerstone of national development. And he has ensured that education and the development of our people remains at the center of Jamaica's growth agenda. Beyond the statistics and the programs, what defines his leadership in this area is a deep respect for educators. He often says that some of the most influential figures in his own life were the guides who saw something in him and encouraged him to rise to his potential. Those moments of belief became catalysts for his leadership. So tonight it is only fitting that the person who will deliver our keynote address is not just our head of government, but one of education's most steadfast champions. A man of policy, action, and of course, results and impact. And may I remind you, lowest unemployment rate in history, lowest poverty rate since we started measuring, murders down 42%, and I can go on and on. A visionary, a reformer, and a leader who has never lost sight of the power of the classroom to change the destiny of our nation. Please join me in welcoming our Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremony. Thank you, Minister, for that wonderful introduction. And as teachers, I know that you stand on protocol. So permit me to stand on the protocols already established. This evening is about acknowledging and honoring the educators who have given their lives in service to others. Our educators have been partnering with us in building our nation one lesson at a time, one child at a time, one generation at a time. We honor those who have stood on the front lines of transformation. The Prime Minister's Medal of Appreciation for Service to Education is the highest honor that can be bestowed by the government of Jamaica to an educator for contribution to education. It is not given lightly, and it is never only symbolic. This award is a statement, a clear national declaration that says, you matter. Your service matters. Your commitment counts. Your legacy is very much real. What makes a person devote 30, 40, even 50 years to education? What keeps them going? It is obviously purpose and passion. It must be love for children. And it must be a deep and abiding concern for future generations. By the way, these are answers that that's when I speak after the minister. I was trying not to adjust it so high. But these are answers that were actually given in an interview I conducted with one of my former teachers. She spent more than 40 years in the classroom, and I had to ask her why. And these were her answers. So I really do appreciate your contribution. It does not matter really how many classrooms we build, how many tablets we distribute, because without the educator, education stalls. The educator is the activator of potential. Yes, feel free to clap if you choose, yes. I notice you're quite a stiff audience tonight. Let down your hair and... The educator is the conscience of the classroom. And the educator is the one who takes policy and breathes life into it. Every major milestone in a country's development begins in the classroom. Whether it is economic competitiveness, crime prevention. I'm sure the Commissioner of Police will tell you about a teacher or a lecturer that inspired him. Whether it is health, civic responsibility, or being a successful prime minister. It starts with an educator who cared. And there is no greater pleasure, I must tell you, of being able to sit with a teacher, whether it is from your primary school or your high school or university, and look in their eyes and see the fulfillment and satisfaction they have when they see their student do well. I wish I could call the teacher's name, but then, you know, that might create problems for me, because there are so many teachers that have influence. But there's one in particular, my English teacher, Mrs. Roper, that I had the honor of calling her to my office and sitting with her. By then, she had given over 40 years to education. She had already retired and up in age, as they say, but still quick in the mind. And I could just see the great pleasure she had to know that she had something to do with my occupying this office and being able to serve the nation. And there was some lessons that I learned that were not on the curriculum. They were not in any textbooks. They were life lessons. I can't go through all of them tonight, but who knows, maybe you will read it in a book. But tonight, I wish to also acknowledge her. She was acknowledged, actually, with a national award a few years ago, a national honor. In recent years, Jamaica has embarked on one of the most ambitious education reform process in our modern history. And I want to just put that in context, seeing that I know that the opposition spokesperson on education is going to seek to correct me outside of this forum. We must acknowledge that there were several attempts at education transformation in Jamaica's modern history, starting in the 1950s, with trying to ensure that there was free scholarship for all students getting into high school, the beginning of the common entrance system. There were other reforms, starting with the roads program. Some of you may recall that. But in the last 30 years, we had the Education Transformation Task Force, which was started by then Prime Minister, the Most Honorable P.J. Patterson, and supported by the Most Honorable Edward Siaga. It was a bipartisan effort to transform education. Several of the institutions that we have now, including the teaching bill, the teaching council, started then. And so I was very encouraged to see the very accommodating tone of the president of the JTA, Dr. Smith. Yes, yes, feel free to clap. Yes, of course, of course. So I just wanted to put that into context, that, you know, this matter of the JTC and the professionalization of teaching was as a result of a bipartisan attempt to reform the education system, and it came out of deep consultation. I happen to have had the privilege of leading the education transformation in the second half of that iteration, and indeed established in most, if not all, of the institutions during my tenure as Minister of Education, coming out of that process. But early in my administration, I recognized that our education system must not only serve the present, meaning that the transformation exercise that was undertaken 20 years ago would have reached its limit relative to what is to come in the future. And so we empanel the Education Transformation Commission, chaired by Professor Orlando Pattison, to undertake a review of Jamaica's education system and provide recommendations to enhance the quality of education for all Jamaicans. The Commission carried out a wide-ranging and in-depth assessment of our education system. At the end, they produced a comprehensive report and clear, actionable recommendations. My government then took that report, reviewed it, and began implementation. We did not allow the report to languish on a shelf. So the report is now being actioned. We have prioritized the foundations, literacy and numeracy, because we understand that without these fundamental building blocks, our children are denied access to lifelong learning. I came across a video recently. It was recorded at the Gregory Park Primary School, I believe, in which the students were proudly chanting, "Readers are leaders. Readers are leaders." And I thought that they got the message, and they're also delivering the message. Our mission is to spread that mindset and enable our children across the country to realize their true potential. We have launched a national response to underperforming schools with targeted interventions in mathematics and reading. Importantly, these students will also receive breakfast and lunch at their school, because as the minister said, nutrition is an important part of education. We have taken bold steps to reform teacher education, protect the teaching profession, and increase alignment between the classroom and the demands of the real world. I want to say here that education is valuable in and of itself. You should pursue education even if there is no economic benefit to it for you. That might sound incongruous, but education is valuable in and of itself. But a country, particularly a developing country, we must ensure that our education system is aligned with our industry, our commerce, and our economy. In other words, for a developing country, the need for a utilitarian education system is very important. If we do not have an aligned education system, what we will end up having are people trained who cannot fill the jobs that are available. And I'm observing the faces. It's hard to read what they're saying because some agree and some don't, or some see the point that I am making and others don't. But if you look at Jamaica's current challenge, you know, it always puzzles me when you speak with people and they say, they use the vernacular, nothing has gone, nothing has changed. And clearly that's an education issue, it's an information gap. Because 10 years ago, the greatest challenge that we faced was to create jobs. We had an unemployment rate between 13 and 15%, and unemployment among young people was as high as 30%. Today, we have an unemployment rate of 3.5%. Yes, please feel free to clap for that. It's your achievement. Be proud of it. But the bigger problem, we have a different problem now. And that is, we do not have enough trained persons to fill the jobs that are available. So we have a structural problem in our society. And that creates a kind of perception that the statistics aren't real. Because you today could go into communities in Jamaica and somebody will confront you and say, I have 8 CXCs, I have 10 CXCs, I have this qualification and I can't get a job. In fact, that happened to me several times as I move around the country. I'm sure it has happened to the minister and I'm sure it has happened to the opposition spokesperson. Now, the minister's response might very well be as mine would be. Maybe you just don't have the qualifications that match the job that is available. And maybe Damien may say, you see, I tell you, the statistics not true. You don't mind not throwing a little jab at you. But the reality is that for a long time, our education system was not aligned. And the misalignment started when we de-emphasized or were not able to teach as is required numeracy and mathematics. That's the key element of the misalignment. The other element of the misalignment, of course, is literacy and the ability to reason and compose responses. Because those two foundational elements of the education system feeds right through the system where people shy away from the very jobs and professions that are at the forefront of economic growth. And we have to correct that. But industry also complains of another misalignment. And they complain bitterly that the people who they are employing, they have to spend far more, not just on training them in the content and curricula that matches the profession and the job, but in work readiness, knowledge and attitude. Knowledge and attitude. not information. But how you take the information that you have and use it to solve problems. And attitude. Attitude to authority. Attitude to service. We're confusing service with servitude. Attitude to innovation. There's very little curiosity to say, why is it that we're doing it this way? Let's see if we could do it another way and get it done better. So the challenge that employers have is that the attitude is not just antisocial sometimes, it is also anti-growth. And we have to reflect on this. We have to think on this as educators. So the transformation that we are seeking is to get the greatest utility out of the significant education budget that we spend, so that we can produce Jamaicans who are aligned to our economic interests, who are pro-social and pro-growth in their outlook, in their mentality, and in their attitudes. So, we want to prepare our Jamaican students not just to pass the exams, not just to show how much information they know, but we want to prepare them to be able to participate confidently in the 21st century. We want our students to be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Singaporean students, with the South Korean students, with the Chinese students, with the Trinidadian students, with the American students. So, we have a lot of work to do. But I know we are up to the task because we have the educators, as exemplified here, who are committed, competent, and capable. As I had mentioned that nutrition is a part of education, so too is a proper transportation system a part of education. When I was going to school, I don't know how many teachers are here from Spanish Town Primary or Ensom City or St. Catherine Primary, St. Catherine High, St. Jago High, Jonathan Grant, Spanish Town High. So when I was going to school, I walked to school from Hampton Green to Spanish Town Primary, which was on just off Burke Road. And then when I was going to high school, I used to walk from Ensom City to St. Catherine High. And I did that until about third form. And then I had to take taxi to get to school. And we had to take about two taxis to get to school. Sometimes you couldn't get them. Sometimes you would hear, "No schoolers." And sometimes, you would go into a taxi, and back then the enforcement wasn't as strong as it is now. So it would be, 8 of us in the taxi. I can share the taxi stories with you. Some of you as teachers would have experienced it yourself. But it was never a wholesome experience. And there's no way that we can be seeking to create the 21st century student that is subjected to the kind of transportation that we have. We're not being serious about ensuring that our students get to school ready to receive learning and get home from school with what they have learned, both in terms of education and in terms of principles intact. Because almost at every turn in the public space, what you learn in school is challenged. In fact, could even be erased and the value of it undermined. So we have to ensure that our public transportation system reinforces what we are teaching our students in schools. You know, you can't have children in school where you're telling them violence is wrong, and then you get into a bus which is playing a song that endorses violence or is having someone right in front of you endorsing violence. It just automatically erases the value of what we taught in the classroom. So we are rolling out the national school bus system. Minister Vaz and Minister Dixon have been leading the charge on this transformation initiative. Phase 1 is already underway in Clarendon, Morant Bay, and Lidstead, with expanded service in Montego Bay. Phase 2 of the program will involve the deployment of 100 fully refurbished school buses across Jamaica. 60 buses are set to be introduced in September 2025 to align with the start of the new academic year, followed by an additional 40 buses in January 2026. These buses will operate during both morning and afternoon periods, transporting students between designated community pickup points and their schools. The service will be guided by stringent safety and behavioral standards to ensure a secure and orderly environment for all students. From the convenience of their devices, parents will be able to see when and where their children board and depart a school bus. This feature is for maximum safety of our children and peace of mind for our parents. Let me touch briefly on technology. We are integrating technology into every element of the education system. 199,000 tablets, laptops, interactive panels, projectors, and other specialized equipment have been distributed. Simultaneously, we are offering more teacher training to help educators deliver STEM or STEAM instruction and the use of technology in the classroom. There are also AI tools which are being piloted to mark scripts and tutor students. And many have been asking the big AI question. In the age of artificial intelligence, where machines can solve equations and generate essays, this speech was not AI written. Do we still need educators? The answer is emphatically yes. Because while AI can process data, only an educator will see a child not getting medical attention that they need and take their time to get the school bus to take them to get their checkup, or share their lunch, go in their pocket and ensure that the child is cared for. AI don't reach there so yet. So only the educator can develop character. Yeah. So while technology can stimulate answers, only an educator can spark imagination and passion. So educators will continue to remain the center of the classroom. Your roles may change. You may not remain the ultimate unimpeachable source of information. because that's what AI is good at. AI is good at the amalgamation and the collection of information. You may not remain the only source of the structure of knowledge. AI is very good at putting knowledge in a logical structure. But you will be, and continue ever so to be, the only source of context. Because in today's world, you're going to get a lot of knowledge, but that information which you will use as knowledge may not be wisdom. And that wisdom only comes with, as a biblical man, the fear of God, but it also comes with strong value systems. So you will know what information makes sense or doesn't make sense, because it is the teachers that will protect the value system which defines the society. You know, it is the teachers, therefore, that will turn the chalkboards into mirrors. So the children can discover themselves, discover who they are, see themselves in the bigger picture of information, knowledge, and indeed get wisdom. So I want to say a few words specifically to our young people. Look at the men and women being honored here. This is what service looks like. This is what patriotism feels like. It is not loud or flashy. It is consistent. It is disciplined. It is dignified. And my, do you look dignified this evening. Honor your educators. Learn their wisdom. Be curious. Be respectful. And above all, be grateful. And those who feel the call, as young people, please step forward. Jamaica needs you as educators. We need your ideas, your energy, your brilliance. And by the way, there are some scholarships still available at the Ministry of Education and sometimes even at the Ministry of Finance that you can seek out to assist in your tuition. So, as your Prime Minister, I make this pledge. We will not rest until every child in Jamaica has access to high-quality education. We will continue to invest in teacher development, support school leaders, and modernize education infrastructure. My administration will continue to expand pathways from school to work, from trading to industry, and from classroom to leadership. Our nation's greatest resource is not in the ground. Our beaches are in the sky. Our greatest resource is our people. The P in my administration's Aspire growth strategy is people. You, our educators, are the ones who shape our people every single day. Let me end by saying this. If we want a better Jamaica, a more productive, more prosperous, more peaceful Jamaica, we must build it in the classroom. That's where it starts. And that work begins with our educators. Educators, as you come forward to receive your award, I hand you the gratitude of a nation and the thanks of generations. May God bless our educators, and may God bless our students. May God bless Jamaica, land we love, and continue to choose Jamaica.
please. Escorted by his aide-de-camp, Deputy Superintendent of Police Andrew Johnson of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Mr. Prime Minister, we thank you for your inspiring words and for your steadfast commitment to the advancement of educational development in Jamaica. And we count on your leadership as together we strive to shape a brighter future for our nation and for our people. Okay, so Mr. PM said that we are a stiff audience, and we're not doing that. It's time to let down your... Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like for you to get ready for an unforgettable experience with one of Jamaica's finest comedic talents. He's a recent nominee for the Iroma International Comedian of the Year Award, recognized for his stand-up performance on the IT and Fancy Cat Christmas Comedy Cook-Up. You've also seen him on the TVJ Comedy Club series, and he's performed across the US, the UK, and the Caribbean, sharing stages with some of the biggest names in comedy. But he's more than just funny, everybody. He's a minister of the gospel for over 20 years. He's also a trained playwright and director from Ireland Theatre Drama School in New York, a former radio host, and a dedicated drama teacher. Born in Thornton District, St. Elizabeth, and proudly representing Balaclava High, can we ask you to give a warm welcome to the one and only Leighton Smith.
Thank you very much. Give me a bigger clap, please. And before I enter exactly, I must ask you to laugh fast because I only have 5 minutes. That's the first laugh. Let me greet the Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's good to be here. Today I had a very unfortunate situation. I saw a boy from grade 5 in the schoolyard walking up and down. And I stopped him. I said, young man, come here. You know, teachers, we have advice. I said, come here. Why do you come to school? He said, because nobody knows their home. But I love my school. I love my school teachers. I'm going to talk to you tonight because I realize that most adults, after a while, we have stomach problem. You know why? Because our stomach was the calculator when we're going to school. You know, you have to beat your chest, start the bigger number, and then, so sometimes you have to do your work and you boom, 5. So somebody had the maths wrong, they say, the maths question and answer wrong there. But I teach in an inner city school, and I love the inner city school more than the upper school. It's nice to teach here. As a matter of fact, when you teach in the upper class school, it's not so fun. Rain fall, the whole of people them come. For them parents drive. You don't understand, why are they here today? You sit next to sit and draw a suitcase and come in morning, sir. But the school that I'm at now, sometimes you don't even have to fall. You have to go look for them yourself. But we have a new principal at my school, so she don't know everything. So my school is off Maxfield Avenue, and over the other side is Trenchtown. Heritage Month gone last year, October, she decides that she's going to take the students over to Trenchtown, over to Bob Marley Place, to let them tour the facility. When I hear the destination that the children are supposed to go, I say, you know, I'm not going on that trip, you know. But I know our students. To see the entire school going on a trip and a bus come and pick them up. Right here, and the driver just went straight up and go over to Trenchtown. I said, I don't want to be on it. When they pick them, discover where them really going on a bus to go, I said, I don't want to go. The morning when the bus arrived, the principal said, Sir Smith, you have to go. From I know myself, it's the first I travel on a bus then. I said, I'm not even going inside too. Because I don't know the outcome. So the driver straight now, and just straight across and stop. I reach it. When he stop, a little boy said, Sir, where you stop yourself at? I said, this is it now. So I lean across, I said, Miss, you answer him. So she said, this is where we are going to reach. He said, yes, sir. So we assembled them off and they came out, they toured the facility. But you and I know that it is illegal to take children on a trip and don't end them at Devon House or KC. So we decided that we are not going to take them to any KC. We want them to go to Devon House because some of them, they live down there but they have never come up this side. So they came and they toured Devon House. They go in the great house, have a wonderful time. When they finished, they were out at the front, sitting down, waiting for their ice cream. Nicely, a boy raised his hand and said, sir, come here. I said, you want me, you come. So he came to me. He said, sir, can you bring me inside here? Let me buy a patty, please. I looked down at him, and I looked up at the place. He said, sir, bring me, let me buy a patty. I said, look here. All patties spell the same, but the prices are different. You see, as if you don't get the memo. So I'm still insisting, he said, sir, bring me, let me buy a patty. When I don't want to blight it in future. I said, come. You and I know that patty start at beef. But that day he lifted his chest a little higher. He went straight up to the cashier and he went up and he ordered a cheese patty. And the cashier and looked at the little boy and said, that would be $975. When he heard the price, he said, small one, no one care. But in closing, my mother was a teacher for 46 years. And I told myself, when I looked, I was inspired when graduation time those years. We had to use 2 vehicles to go for my mother. The amount of gifts she get. And I said, when I grow up, I want to be a teacher. Not knowing that by the time I reached there, that would cut out. So the first school I landed was in Kingston here. And the graduation there, I get myself well dressed. Because I'm going for gift. When I went there, I didn't see the gifts for the teacher section. So I asked the principal, where are the gifts for the teacher? He said, no, it's not like that here. No, it's some certificate and medal for the students. So I said, right, all hope is not lost because Teachers Day coming up. So if I don't get it here, I will get it Teachers Day. Teachers Day, I sat at my desk. You know, like a vendor come out and put out the goods. And the customer is not passing and looking at the vendor. I said, I sit down at the desk and people just pass the money. And then I was a Teachers Day. Up and down, but God have it. That I saw a little boy. He was coming towards me with his hand in his pocket. Walk and boom. That's not how he walked normally, but that day he was booming. So he boomed to me. He went in his pocket and he took out $100 and he said, Happy Teachers Day, sir. May take it. And I pull out my drawer and I put it in. I mean, know him. I know him. So I put it in the drawer. The principal took us out for lunch. While we were there at the table, some other teachers had talked what them get. Me said, me can't make them outdo me. So I raised my hand. I said, I got something. They said, what you got, sir? I said, I get $100. The principal said, sir, is the thought that count? Mr. should have count more. So, sitting there now and enjoy the wonderful outing. Come back to school the Thursday. Sitting at my desk, close to lunchtime, miss you one shadow. I come up towards my class. And when me look, he wasn't booming this time. He came up and him take him time and him push him head inside. Mr. Come, me have it. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of the night, ladies and gentlemen.
I wonder how many teachers could acknowledge and appreciate and relevant, right? One more round of applause for Leighton Smith. Thank you very much, sir, for bringing us some joyful laughter. We very much appreciate you sharing your comedic talent with us tonight. Acknowledging the presence of Minister Terlong with us. Sir, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister's Medal of Appreciation for Service to Education may be awarded annually to any citizen of Jamaica who has been a teacher with a minimum of 15 years service to education in Jamaica, whose service has been outstanding in the field of education, and who has shown evidence of community involvement, innovation, and creativity in the service given. The number of medals granted in any year shall not exceed 40, and we recognize the worthy recipients for 2023 and 2024 at this award ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation of the awards. May we invite the Prime Minister to the stage, please. I now invite the Prime Minister, the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, to present the Medals of Appreciation for Service to Education to the first group of recipients. The Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, a member of the Order of the Nation, a member of the Privy Council, and a member of Parliament, is pleased to award the Prime Minister's Medal of Appreciation to the undermentioned persons in recognition of their outstanding service to education with effect from 31st May 2023. Ms. Carleen Andrea Allen, Justice of the Peace, Highgate Primary School, St. Mary. The late Mrs. Marsha Marie Allen Russell, Porus High School, Manchester, and this medal will be collected by her sister, Mrs. Tracy Ann Wilson. Miss Sylvia Elizabeth Bryan, Shortwood Teachers College, St. Andrew. Mrs. Rosalie Allery Campbell Morris, Maypen Primary School, Clarendon. Dr. Mavelle Nisha Lloyd Charlton Brown, Justice of the Peace, Hampton School, St. Elizabeth. Mrs. Navette Narita Christian, Justice of the Peace, Denham Town High School, Kingston. Mrs. Eva Patricia Coleman Stamp, Wycliffe Martin High School, St. Mary. Mrs. Elaine Carleen Elliott Matthews, Marlymount Primary and Infant School, St. Catherine. Dr. Olivie Natasha Evans, Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Kingston. Mrs. Lorna Meredith Forrester, Justice of the Peace, St. James Preparatory School, St. James. Mrs. Juliette Aldine Fraser Sadar, St. Mary High School, St. Mary, medal to be collected by her son, Mr. Antor Stefano Ryan Sadar. Mrs. Anne Rosemarie Geddes Nelson, Justice of the Peace, Independent City Primary School in St. Catherine. Ms. Michelle Carleen Gordon, Wycliffe Martin High School, St. Mary. Dr. Sadie Henrietta Harris Mortley, Justice of the Peace, Sam Sharp Teachers College, St. James. Dr. Darian George Henry, Justice of the Peace, Montego Bay Community College, St. James. Ms. Lorraine Angeli Henry, Port Maria Infant School, St. Mary. Mrs. Everine Angelita Henry Tracy, Justice of the Peace, Wycliffe Martin High School, St. Mary. Mrs. Sandrine Adicia Hill Sherwood, Justice of the Peace, Sandy Bay Primary High School in Hanover. Professor Carol Rose Hunter Clark, the Michael University College, St. Andrew. Professor Disraeli Montgomery Hutton, University of the West Indies, St. Andrew. Ms. Laverne Andrea Johnson, Davis Primary and Infant School, St. Catherine. Mrs. Vivine Angela Johnson, Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Kingston. Mrs. Jennifer Rosemarie Mattis, Tivoli Garden High School in Kingston. Mrs. Beverly Primrose McLaren, Pembroke Hall High School, St. Andrew. Dr. Maureen Mullings Nelson, the Michael University College, St. Andrew. Ms. Maris Rose Murray, National Council on Education, Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Kingston. Mr. Anthony George Norman, Church Teachers College, Mandeville. Mrs. Margaret Ann Ricketts Thompson, Godfrey Stewart High School, Westmoreland. Mrs. Elaine Joan Russell King, St. Mary High School, St. Mary. Mrs. Marilyn Sharon Samuels Porter, Vaughnsfield Primary and Infant School in St. James. Mrs. Janet Anne-Marie Shaw Gooden, Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Kingston. Dr. Aston Nehemiah Spencer, Justice of the Peace, Hart NSTA Trust, St. Thomas. Dr. Jacqueline Dolores Thames, Monique College, St. Anne. Mrs. Miriam Elizabeth Thomas, Guys Hill High School, St. Catherine. You took your picture? Okay. Dr. Lorna Patricia Thompson, Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Kingston. Mrs. Nadia Shamila Tuller, Jose Marti High School, should be Technical High School in St. Catherine. Mr. Richard Antonio Williams, Gregory Park Primary School, St. Catherine. Dr. Monica Radisha Williams Dempster, Church Teachers College, Manchester. Mrs. Audrey Williams Woodry, Manning School, Westmoreland. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, and congratulations to all our 2023 recipients. A round of applause for them, please. Their service and sacrifice have left an indelible mark on Jamaica's educational landscape, and we celebrate and salute you. And ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready now to experience the voice of a generation. Our next performer is a dynamic and soulful recording artist whose musical journey began at the tender age of 5. And from winning multiple JCDC children's gospel song competitions to becoming a household name, he has been captivating audiences with his incredible gift for years. In 2023, he took the national stage by storm, winning Digicel Rising Stars, one of Jamaica's most prestigious talent showcases. His rich, emotive voice, often compared to the greats like Luther Vandross and Barry White and Teddy Pendergrass, blends the warmth of vintage soul with the energy and style of today's R&B. More than just a singer, he's a storyteller who pours heart and soul into every performance. Tonight, he brings us his rendition of Bridge Over Troubled Waters, a song that speaks to hope, to healing, and to the strength to carry on. Please welcome the extraordinary Mr. Ramon Smith.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, distinguished guests. Good evening, Mr. Prime Minister. when you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled waters, I will lay me down. Oh, yes, I will. When you're down and out, when you're on the street, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you. And I'll take your part. Oh, and darkness comes, and the pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled waters. I will lay me down, like a bridge over troubled waters. I will lay me down. Oh, yes, I will. Sail on, silver girl. Sail on by. Your time has come to sail, and all your dreams are on their way. See how they shine. And if you ever need a friend, I'm sailing right behind, like a bridge over troubled waters. I will lay me down, like a bridge over troubled waters. I will lay me down. I will lay me down. Thank you so much.
Wow. Wow. Great. One more time. Thank you very much, Ramon. What a powerful voice. Incredible performance. Thank you very much there, sir. Just the perfect interlude we needed to get us right into the next set of awards. So here we go, continuing with awards to the 2024 recipients. Once more, we invite the Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, to present the Medals of Appreciation for Service to Education, this time to the 2024 recipients. The Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, a member of the Order of the Nation, a member of the Privy Council and member of Parliament, is pleased to award the Prime Minister's Medal of Appreciation to the undermentioned persons in recognition of their outstanding service to education with effect from 29th May 2024. Mr. Norman Ansel Martin Allen, Jamaica Teachers Association, St. James. Dr. Claudette L. Barrett March, Shortwood Teachers College, St. Andrew. Mrs. Jasmine Andrea Beckford Johnson, Bethel Primary School in Hanover. Mrs. Heloise Carmita Burrell Loudon, Knox College, Clarendon. Mrs. Margaret Ann Campbell, St. George's College, Kingston. Mrs. Patricia May Carr, Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Kingston. Mrs. Virus Viola Clark Ellis, Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Kingston. Mrs. Violet Clark Thomas, Mayfield Primary and Infant School, St. Elizabeth. Mr. Vivian Altamont Burke Cox, the Queen's School for Girls, St. Andrew. Mrs. Sonia Rose Marie Dobson Walters, Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Kingston. Dr. Janet Angela Dyer, Justice of the Peace, Hart College of Hospitality Services, St. Anne. Mrs. Rosemary Freckleton, Knox Community College, Clarendon. Mrs. Hilda Myrtle Lee Hibbert, Justice of the Peace, Manning School, Westmoreland. Dr. Tanisha Alicia Ingleton, Hart NSTA Trust, St. Andrew. Mr. Mark Anthony Jackson, Ascot Primary School, St. Catherine. The late Mrs. Carmelita Lawrence, Badge of Honor for Long and Faithful Service, Hampton Preparatory School, St. Anne. This medal will be collected by her son, Mr. Othniel Lawrence. Dr. Rowan George Locke, Manning School, Westmoreland. He's unable to attend this evening. So behind him, we have Mr. Dawkins Rudolph Martin, Justice of the Peace, Discovery Bay Preparatory School, St. Anne. Dr. Wade Starlton Marr, Vector Technology Institute, Kingston. Mrs. Julian Vivienne McGregor Williams, Justice of the Peace, Mandeville Infant School, Manchester. Mrs. Donna Marie McHugh, Justice of the Peace, Marvelly Primary and Infant School, St. Andrew, I'm sorry. Mr. Isaac Nyakundi Oniwere, Bethlehem Moravian College, St. Elizabeth. Ms. L. Cecile Palmer, St. Teresa Preparatory School, St. Andrew. Mrs. Sandra Verona Pinnock Evans, University of the West Indies Global Campus, Westmoreland. Mrs. Rhea Askflog Richard Spear, Justice of the Peace, Jonathan Grant High School, St. Catherine. Ms. Molly Elaine Russell, Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Kingston. Mr. Howard William Salmon, Mandeville Primary and Junior High School, Manchester. Mrs. Adita Laurel Sherwood, Hill Cove High Achievers Preparatory School in St. Anne. Mr. Winston Roy Smith, Justice of the Peace, Golden Spring Primary School, St. Andrew. Mrs. Veronica Victoria Stevenson Hines, Mount Salem Primary and Junior High, St. James. Ms. Leslie Lorraine Thomas, Knox Community College in Clarendon. Reverend Dr. Sandra Lloyd Thompson, Santa Cruz Primary and Infant School, St. Elizabeth. Mrs. Sharon Efitha Thompson, Doheny Park Primary School, St. Andrew. Mrs. Rosemary Thompson Collins, Cross Keys High School in Manchester. Mrs. Anna Ruth Thwaites Wallace, Justice of the Peace, American International School of Kingston, St. Andrew. Dr. Angela Patricia Walker, Justice of the Peace, De Carteret College, Manchester. Ms. Lorna Jane Williams, the Convent of Mercy Academy, Kingston. Mrs. Suzanne Gay Williams, Liberty Academy at the Priory, St. Andrew. Mrs. Keon Peter Gay Wine, Montevernia High School, St. James. And finally, Mrs. Stephanie Gale Wright Grant, St. Jago High School in St. Catherine. They were classmates, so they're having a beautiful moment. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the presentation of awards to our 2023 and our 2024 recipients. We thank you, Most Honorable Prime Minister, for the recognition of our dedicated teachers, evident in the award of the Prime Minister's Medal of Appreciation for Service to Education. A round of applause for all our awardees, please. Your commitment and your passion and your service will continue to inspire. So now we invite the Prime Minister, Senator Crawford, Senator Morris Dixon, Minister Morris Dixon, Dr. Mark Smith, and Mrs. Thomas Gale, and the recipients. We're going to ask you to move to the front of the stage for an official group photograph as directed by the protocol and media teams. We're going to start with the 2023 awardees. So Ambassador and your team, we need you up front to help with the coordination of this. Other guests, you're being asked to remain in place, please, while these official photographs are taken. While we do this, we ask the JCF band for an interlude, because we have two groups to do this with. Excellently done. Thank you very much. May we have the 2024 awardees, please? Next patients, same treatment. All the way around, all the way around, all the way around, higher here. Fantastic. So once again, We extend our heartfelt thanks to our dignitaries for gracing us with their presence this evening, and to our esteemed recipients for your sterling service and your unwavering contribution to education. And so we thank you all for joining us for the 2025 Prime Minister's Medal of Appreciation Award ceremony, and we wish for everyone a pleasant and restful night. Take good care. We kindly ask that all recipients and guests remain in place for the official departures, after which you are warmly invited to partake in the reception that follows. Thank you for your presence and good night, everyone.